Another very critical voices about Bersih, the relationship between Bersih and the opposition.
Right.
Because someone that I've interviewed earlier on during the Bersih 5 rally thinks that Bersih has changed, and it has been hijacked by certain political party, or partisan. So and of course with your attendance at the DAP convention yesterday, I don't know, what do you have anything to say about this?
Well, I don't think, I feel that we have not been hijacked. We are still very much in control of our agenda because we have stayed on course. You know, if you look at all our demands, we are very clear. Even when we had the by-elections, when the opposition as well as the ruling candidate, the ruling party, when they actually started giving kanduri and little gifts to the voters in exchange for votes, we have actually come out with press statements to criticize them. So we are very clear that, you know, if you do wrong and if you actually do not follow the election offences, election laws, we will criticize you.
Yes.
We will actually raise it, and it's all up on our website. So I don't think we have been hijacked. But what we usually do is that every activity of Bersih, we invite all political parties, whether you are the opposition or you are the ruling. We have letters to show you. We deliver to the headquarters and all that to ask them to join us. Yeah, in Sabah, Sarawak, and Semenanjung, we have done it all the time. So we will work with whoever who agrees with our agenda. So if you don't agree, we can't force you, but we definitely would encourage every political party should actually take an interest in what Bersih does, because we are about elections.
Yes.
So if it's the opposition supporting us, we welcome. If Barisan Nasional support us, we also welcome. And we have actually had engagement with MCA before. So I don't think that we have been hijacked or that our agenda is being determined by the opposition. And being present at DAP, I will go to, if Barisan Nasional invite me, I will go as well.
So you will go to UMNO General Assembly
too? Yes, of course, if they invite me. But we will go because I also want to know what they are talking about. The other thing is also, since we have gone through Bersih 5 and it's so successful, the political parties also play a role. So it's also to thank them on that basis. Nothing else. As to whether they will tell me what to do, I don't think so. And I don't think any of my steering committee will even listen to political parties, because we are very clear that while we have a good relationship with the political parties, but the agenda is ours.
What about the very controversial figure that has been participating in two Bersih rally, Tun Mahathir?
Yeah, well, I guess that politics change. Yeah, when we had the Bersih 4 and when Mahathir was there, at that time he was not in support of the institutional reform. Yeah, so people will have noticed that we didn't offer for him to speak.
Yes.
Yeah, but Bersih 5 over the year or so, he has actually changed his position as well. So if his support or anyone, yeah, we don't really bother who, whether it's Mahathir or Muhyiddin or any of the opposition, if they support our agenda, we will give you the platform to speak. But the NGOs still hold on to the main program. So if I'm not mistaken, Bersih 5 at the end, it was actually the NGOs who actually controlled the program, and we spoke. Quite a number of my steering committee also told me that they actually took control of the program. So we have to actually understand that, you know, the problem that we have challenging us cannot be resolved by just Bersih alone. We have to work with different groups of people because it's a bigger agenda. So we want change. It's a much bigger agenda, and you cannot pick and choose who you want to work with. If you are able to help our agenda, for me,
so
why not?
even if this particular individual, he comes to you and say that now I support institutional reform, you just take his word for it.
Who?
Like Mahathir, because you said that he didn't support institutional reform, and now he does, so he gets a chance to speak at the Bersih rally.
Definitely.
So you will not. I mean, how do you actually assess that whether he's
by following what he says, because he's very vocal.
That's true.
So, and if you notice in his speeches or in his writing and all that, he is starting to talk about the reforms. You know, he's talking about the electoral reforms and also the institutional reforms. So that is an indication for us. As to later, if the next government does not do our reform, we will continue criticizing and raising our concerns, our recommendation. We won't stop. Yeah, whether you are in the opposition or you are in the ruling government, we won't stop.
There are actually suggestions that Bersih should take their struggle to another level by turning itself into a political party. Do you foresee that that would be the future of Bersih?
No, I don't think so. I think that will change the whole nature of Bersih, because we have a role as a civil society, and that is the power that we have. We should not actually turn into a political party, because the political agenda will have to be taken up by political parties themselves and not by a civil society movement, because if Bersih becomes a political party, where is the check and balance? Then you have to create another civil society to be the check and balance. I don't think so. I think Bersih, the support and the power that it has now comes from the very fact that we are a civil society. So we should continue as a civil society.
The role as a civil society. Yeah, so you have been very actively participated in the civil society as an activist and everything. Do you see that now we actually enjoy more democratic space as before?
More, I really don't think so, you know, because you see, when Najib came into power, he promised that the Internal Security Act will be got rid of. Of course, he did that. But unfortunately, what he did was he brought in new laws that actually are more draconian. Like, for example, SOSMA.
Yes.
He also brought in this, the National Security Act, the Council, which actually gives the possibility for a civilian government to take over military power. We are not in a state of war in Malaysia, so I don't see what's the necessity of having the National Security Council being enacted, nor do I see the relevance of SOSMA. Yeah, if you want to deal with the terrorists like IS type of terrorism, that there are so many laws that we have in Malaysia that will be able to deal with it, and you don't need the SOSMA procedure to actually deal with terrorism. Unfortunately, what is not assuring is that now SOSMA, while we were initially assured that it will not be used against Bersih nor civil society, has been proven a lie, because you're using it on me. And people like even Khairuddin Abu Hassan, you have used it on Metias. So there is that moment where you have actually given to abuse of power.
Yes.
Yeah. So you cannot tell me that SOSMA is for terrorism now. You are telling me that with this act I can actually abuse my power and use it against civil society, and that is where we are challenging it, because we feel that it's illegal and it's against the constitution. you actually totally violate the rights of an individual, because the first 48 hours, you have no access to the council nor to your family. Then you can be detained for 28 days without an open trial. So that is already against all fundamental human rights. So so why is it that the government needs to actually have that kind of power? Because if you believe in democracy, then you can use so many acts to actually arrest us if we break the law. But if you want to look at our accounts, if you want to look at our activities, we have always reported it in our website. You don't need SOSMA to actually ask us to produce our accounts, right? So for me, arresting me under SOSMA was an abuse of power.
So you actually foresee that there will be more opportunity for abuse of power with the existence of all this draconian law?
Yes. In fact, now 12 persons have been called out for investigation, and they have been threatened that they are being investigated under 124C, which is undermining parliamentary democracy, and tying that up with SOSMA. So that is actually trying to strike fear and trying to actually target at the civil society, and trying to destroy the work that civil society are doing by calling all these individuals up.
This actually brings us to the question of our audience, Wilson. So he asked, Madam Chin, what do you think that stops the country from progressing, especially in terms of freedom of expression?
Well, I think that it would be actually the draconian laws that we have that will actually stop, and also the cabinet who actually don't say anything when there is abuse of power. But I feel that, you know, being positive about it, the very fact that more and more people come out to speak about it and overcome your fear will actually be able to one day overcome these oppressive laws, and to also teach the government that there are many other ways to build a democratic country. So the power of the people, to be honest, my release, I believe, is really because of the power of the people. They came out, rain or shine, they were there, and it's not in a few hundreds but in thousands. That actually gave more pressure on the government, and I believe that my early release is also because a lot of people are protesting.
Have you actually thought about why were you arrested at the first place?
I think it is meant to teach us a lesson, because we did not so-called call off the rally. Yeah, it is actually to teach, through me, to teach per se a lesson, to strike fear on the
But they have always been
supporters.
asking you guys to call off the rally at each and every rally.
But they never arrested us so directly under SOSMA. So it is meant to really give it to us, so to speak. The other one is to actually reduce the turn up for our rally, but it didn't work, you know. So the people coming out and being strong about it, overcoming their fear, helped us a lot. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So what do you think actually is the future of Malaysia?
I think we have a lot of future. We have actually grown economically and also politically to some extent. It's only the political will that is in question now, whether the present government wants to kill democracy or they want to build a more democratic Malaysia. The ball is not on our court, yeah. It's on the other. It's on the government's court, whether they want to be better in building Malaysia for the future. So I feel that, you know, the other thing is that if the people, more people come out in support, more Malaysians, and Bersih 5 have proven that we are Malaysians, more people coming forward will actually force the government to listen to us.
Well, actually, Wilson, he asked another question too. He
Sure.
said he wanted to know, what do you think the younger Malaysians should do for the betterment of the country, and especially the Chinese?
Well, I don't see that as especially the
Yes,
Chinese,
yes.
but I think every Malaysian, particularly the young people, knowing that we have about 4 million unregistered voters, please get your young friends to actually register as voters, because once in 5 years, that's only your small little contribution to this country, and that's an important contribution. Secondly is that the right to dissent must always be with us, and young people can actually voice out, and it will be listened to, because if 5 million, 10 million young people were to voice out on how they want the country to grow, that makes a big difference. Can you imagine 5 million young people on the streets? That will make a big difference.
But, you know, since you raised the issue of the delineation problem, right, there might be some disillusion that, you know, what's the point of me registering? Because ultimately the results are affected by the delineation. So what do you have to say to this bunch of people?
Yes, it will be, but if we come out in large numbers, perhaps we can actually change the results of the elections. But that is something that we have to keep on fighting. Yeah, as long as the government behaves the way that they are behaving, you know, with no respect to the constitution, and undermines, you know, the delineation, that's something we have to continue fighting. The second inquiry is up, so let us continue fighting that, bringing up more legal cases, and get as many people to register. That's the only way we can actually fight back.
Yep. Continue fighting.
Yes,
that's the spirit of Maria Chin. Yeah, I shall not keep you for too long. I know you have a long day, but this is my very last question. So, I'm not so sure whether you have realized, but a lot of people, especially young families, are planning to leave Malaysia. They are, you know, taking up the options of migrating. Can you share with us, why have you not left this country and choose to contribute in the way you did for the past few decades?
I guess I feel very comfortable in Malaysia. But of course, you do see the discrimination, you see the country sliding. But for me, is that running away is not an option. You know, in another country, you also will see the discrimination, and things can go better, or it can go worse. So why don't you rough it out in Malaysia? That's my option. For people who leave the country, I can understand. I can understand that, and brain drain in Malaysia is a huge problem. I can understand that, but as long as perhaps if they can still contribute as a voter, that is also appreciated. I won't judge people leaving this country, but hopefully our government will be able to appreciate the talents of the Malaysians, and help to build this into a better country. Then we will not have so many people leaving Malaysia.
You also have 3 very young children, actually, going in. I mean, they're going to start their work and their life very soon. What is your hope and wishes for them, actually?
Well, I just hope that they finish their studies, of course, and get a job which they feel, you know, comfortable with and able to sustain them, so that I don't have to look after them. But I think that I'm very confident that my 3 sons will find their way. in Malaysia.
Do you think they will they will follow your footsteps and become an activist as well?
Well, I leave it up to them because young people nowadays, you cannot tell them what to do. Yeah, and me and my husband always believe that they have the right to choose their lives, not us, because that's not our life. Yeah, it's their lives, and we have given them the opportunity. It's up to them to take the opportunities.
But you have also worked so that they could have a better
Yes, of
better
course.
country.
Yes,
all right,
definitely.
Thank you, Maria.
Yes, thank you very much.